Okay. So I hope we got everything in order. A little bit of a rushed start here. I think we're live. I hope we're live.
Nobody knows.
How are you, Mike?
Good, brother. How you doing?
I might have made a little mistake. Let's just see
What's that?
here. Well, I mean, there's a million different settings that have to be exactly correct. Yeah, I screwed one up. So
What
people
is it?
who are, well, people who are, oh, no, it's working. I don't know. Somehow it fixed itself. Hello, Mike.
A little mistake is getting pregnant on your honeymoon. That's a little mistake. So this is even smaller. This is even smaller mistake.
That happened to
Unless,
me.
unless of course you wanted to. You got pregnant on your honeymoon?
Well,
It's a
my wife
fucking
did.
miracle.
My ex-wife did.
Really?
Yeah,
That happened to me too.
but there was no child. It was I shouldn't go into all this, but
It's
you
just
know,
getting this show is really spicing up. I mean, it's really. This is
Mike,
like,
when you lose a pregnancy, it's very difficult to maintain the
yeah.
marriage after that.
It's my sister went through that. Yeah, a lot of people go through that.
It's extreme emotional distress
It's
on the
tough.
mother. Yeah,
It's tough on the women, especially. Yeah,
yeah.
it's something that never goes away, obviously, and so yeah,
But
somehow
not to redirect from what we're going to talk about tonight.
we're on Dr. Phil now. It went out of control. It
Exactly.
spun out of
We don't want
control.
that.
Dr. Phil's going to come out, crazy Irishman.
You have been breaking tons of insane news on TruePundit.com. I mean, it's not your fault that it's insane. It's just the nature of the news these days. I think a lot of people are. Well, why don't you tell us where we're going to go tonight, Mike?
I don't know really what we're doing on an hourly basis. It changes. We're going to talk about Wray tonight. We have some breaking news on Wray and Mr. Wray, Mr. FBI, Mr. I'm going to reform the FBI. What a crock of shit. So, Wray, who now is launching a internal investigation into the way the FBI handled the Flynn investigation. It's just going to be another bullshit gloss over whatever these guys do all the time. You notice no one ever gets in trouble really, and no one really
I've
ever goes to
noticed that.
jail.
Yeah.
So people now on the inside. Now we're going to talk about tonight when we get to the meat and potatoes of it on More Pain on patreon.com/TruePundit and patreon.com/crowdsource the truth. You like this? I'm working into plugs now.
Yeah, you're
better.
a pitch man now.
First
I love
time
it.
ever.
Nice.
First time ever. Podcast. They keep slipping things in on a podcast. You got to read it. You got to talk about, plug more. Don't be shy. Okay, cool. So, they're turning on them now. So this is a turning point.
Who's
in the
turning
FBI.
on who?
Well, the top guys are turning on Wray. They've had it with him.
Good.
So now they're starting to leak out and say, oh, you got to look into this. You got to look into that. So we're going to talk about some of the things that we were looking into, that we were led in the right direction. And it's very interesting, to be honest with you. Because why don't you think what it is now? Because I don't fucking want to. There you go. We could put that to rest in case that was in the people out there.
Well, it's not just that, though. It's not just that, Mike. I mean, we've created this format because look around. Anybody who talks about this controversial stuff on YouTube, you eventually get kicked off of YouTube. So then there's no information. I mean, at least this way.
We didn't even do anything over the weekend. And we got retweeted by Trump, and we find ourselves in like the middle of this controversy. We didn't do a goddamn thing. We just got retweeted by the guy. We appreciate the retweet. But he decided to retweet a very obscure story of ours. Out of all the stories we've broken and stuff, he retweeted us about Joe Scarborough, and we're in the middle of it. We're saying to these Twitter goons are checking in, and other people are checking in, saying, "Hey, you guys a conspiracy site, or what's the story here?" I'm saying we didn't have anything to do with it. We can't. Can you control who the president tweets and retweets? We can't. What are you picking on us for? Leave us the fuck alone. Go away.
But it's a good question. Why is Trump so fascinated with Joe Scarborough now?
I don't know. But what I'm saying is, you don't even for us, you and I, we don't have to even do anything, and we can be mired in controversy. Like
Right.
with Dershowitz was calling you out. You're like, I called Dershowitz on the phone and talked to him. That's what you're saying. And the guy went off, and I'm saying I was having like a hot dog and a hamburger over the weekend, and people were reaching out saying that Trump retweeted you. And I'm thinking, oh man, he finally got a hold of one of these good FBI stories, and he's going to rub it in. And it was a story about Joe Scarborough. I'm like, oh, here we go. And then it was on the top of Drudge. And your point is that if these guys can drum up anything to throw you off of social media, even if you didn't do anything really, you know what I'm saying? So that's why we're on Patreon. That's why we started the podcast. So we don't have to depend on the, I mean, we use this YouTube portion as a promo. People are like, hey, how come the YouTube show's 20 minutes, man? What the hell? You guys are really chasing people. It's a promo.
What do we have all night? What are we supposed to do?
Yeah, it's like, what am I doing over here? You know what I mean? It's like, this wasn't in my Netflix lineup. This is bullshit. I mean, it's like...
But Mike, I'm looking at Trump's Twitter here, and take a look at this. Why is he retweeting Dr. Robert Redfield? I mean, this is a guy who he should just be impaneling a grand jury and throwing in jail. What the hell is going on with President Trump? He's telling people to wear the mask, talking about...
I don't know what's
Joe
going
Scarborough.
on. Redfield. He's talking about Redfield, and he retweets Redfield. And he talks about Burks in high esteem, and he was talking about Fauci and like putting him out front. I'm like, hello, we're sending people to the White House, not we, but a group we know of guys. We're getting to senators who are going to the White House saying, yo, you can't put Fauci out front. This guy is like a menace. He's wrecked people. He doesn't have a good track.
Trump is retweeting my buddy Kevin Sorbo. He was the star of Julia X. What is Trump doing?
I don't know what's going on. Trump is Twitter. He's gone out of control. He's like me on that daily podcast. I say it's a man coming unraveled slowly.
Yeah.
I don't know who Sorbo is.
He was Hercules on TV.
Oh,
you know Sorbo.
Yeah, okay, Sorbo. I know who he is now. All right.
Decent guy.
But I don't know what the president's doing. He's a complete wild man. God bless him. I mean, maybe that's what you got to be these days. I don't, but what I'm saying is they don't need an excuse to toss you off of here.
Right.
And that's why we do what we're, and actually it isn't like something new. We've been doing it. You and I saw this coming 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Actually, you more than 2 years ago. That's why we started this. I said, when we sat down in Philly, you said, you should really think about getting a show together. And I said, okay, but I don't want to do it on YouTube because eventually you're going to have like 700 fucking videos and they're going to pull the plug on you because you said one bad word or was taken out of context or something happens. So we've gone out of our way by design, at least here, everything is pretty much by design that we do is very well thought out. We take our time. We're not going to go. We're not going to give the goods up on here, right? We have some people supporting us, and we depend on that support to keep the lights on. So that's the way it is. But tonight we'll talk about Wray. I will break more news. I might talk about some other FBI stuff too. I'm waiting. I really have my phone on my lap, and I'm waiting for some confirmation to come in on another story. And we've on the Patreon show, we've broken news. We've had documents come in. Somebody hands me documents and I read them.
That's true.
As we prep for the More Pain show, and then we're prepping for the big Wednesday podcast. In addition, we put out 2 podcasts on Wednesdays. And so, it's all hands on deck this time of week. If we can make our philosophy is if we can make the Thursday, then we just kind of ease back a little bit on Friday and on the weekends. But Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday are 18, 19-hour days. And that's how we've been rolling, and it's been going very well. And I'm not besmirching people for checking us out on YouTube. I enjoy talking to people, right? And I think it's important that we have both of our, obviously you're on YouTube all the time, but I'm just saying, hey man, you get what you pay for. And I'm being kind of a dick, but that's who I am.
Well, that's the free section.
Sorry.
Look at how well rated the podcast is, Mike. I mean, 4.8 out of 5 stars with 416
Oh,
ratings.
that's it. That'll be it now. They're all coming out of the
Trolls will
woodwork
go in
now.
there.
Yeah,
Sorry.
that's all right. Do what you want. People say to me all the time, right? You have to tell people on the podcast, rate us on iTunes and rate us on your favorite. Fuck that. I don't care what you do. That has no bearing on me whatsoever. I don't care if you want to rate it or you don't want to rate it. We appreciate it. You have the ability to rate it any way you want, but I don't. People are saying you have to tell. This has to do with your ratings in Apple. You don't understand. You're just not getting it. I don't care about that stuff. Like, if I'm going to ask you for something, it's going to be to support our efforts, not to rate me. That's what these robots do, right? These guys who are underwritten by billionaires. Rate me on Apple because I'm in some kind of contest with other people that are backed by billionaires. Well, I don't have time to play that game. This is like a working class operation here. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
Rate me.
Speaking of billionaires on social media, look at this. Somebody in our comments just alerted me that Twitter has apologized for Trump's tweets, but their user crackdown does not apply to the president. They're slapping a fact check label on Trump. Will they do this to Hillary? Will they do this to Joe Biden?
The Snopes is going to come out after they're done. The one guy was embezzling money and dating the porn star and jet setting her all over the country with the Snopes money. Yeah, it's real upstanding there. Or it's going to be those morons at Politicheck or the idiot in Philadelphia. I forget the name of it. Some kind of fact checking thing.
PolitiFact?
It's out of Philadelphia, right? They did some hack job on us. I said, look these hobos up and figure out who's running this operation. And they said, he's in Philly. These guys are in Philly. And I said,
really bad.
Fuck out of here. And then I said, who's running it? And they said, some Poindexter named Eugene Kiley. And I said, Eugene Kiley? He was my editor when I was in the Trenton Bureau covering the governor's office in New Jersey. I said, that breadstick is in my face. I saved his ass from getting fired 10 times. This guy was my boss, didn't know his ass from a hole in the ground. So that's who they have running these things, these like Poindexters, these butter sticks, these wimps who are out there like pushed around like the guy with the soy lunch. I'm over there eating like a Delmonico steak and he's got a fucking Cobb salad. Get the fuck out of here.
I guess that's factcheck.org.
Fact check, Kiley. Kiley's, and I'm thinking, of all the awards I won for this guy, and then he comes, like, even though it's years later, it's like, show some respect, Kiley. My God, half the raises you got because of my sweat, not those other idiots you had in the Trenton Bureau. I worked circles around them. Anyway, that's just me, my career back in the day.
He's catching fish, Mike. Look at this guy. Oh, no, sorry, that's Brooks Jackson. Here he is.
Kiley.
Director. He's the director of factcheck.org.
Yeah, he's big director, yeah. I sent the guy an email. I was like, yo, remember me? Don't fuck around with us again. Anyway.
And did he respond?
No. Listen, but, in all fairness, he was a pretty good journalist. I don't know what happened to him. Although back then, everybody is your friend when you're a liberal reporter too. Like I was a young guy and I leaned more toward being liberal, but I guess when you cross over and you're considered not liberal anymore, then it's like fair game, like you're some piece of meat, you know what I'm saying? But wow. Yeah, it really took me back to see him. But they did a total hack job on it. It was a total hack job. And I was like, come on, man, if you're gonna play it that way, play it straight. You know what I'm saying? Because you can twist anything any different way. At least give us a straight shot if we fuck up. But it wasn't that kind of deal. It was a total railroad job. And I was like, come on, man. But the funny thing is about journalism, Jason, the next day or 48 hours later, you're on to something else. It's like next, got something else going and you forget about these. And so does everybody else, right? Except for me. Except for a spiteful bastard like me, I remember.
But what is this Sigma Delta Chi, Mike? I've never heard of that before. He won that award.
Isn't that some kind of deadline award or something?
I don't know.
Deadline
I've never
Award,
heard of
a
it before
Deadline
right now.
Society.
I just don't trust these Greek societies, like all these secret societies. I don't really trust them at all. And this guy won the awards date back to 1932.
It's like
When
a Deadline Award thing, society, maybe a professional journalist. I think I won a couple of those. Who cares?
Yeah.
The only Greek organization I cared about was the one in college. I Tap a Keg. That was the
Exactly.
one I was a member.
Papa
I mean,
Nico's Taverna.
I'm not kidding. My wife was like, let's clean out the attic. I was like, Jesus Christ. Here we go. Nothing else is
Lockdown
going
fun.
on with this lockdown fun. I'm like, I don't even know not what's in the attic. I don't know who's in the attic. Okay?
Right.
She gets these boxes and she's like, what are these boxes? They're filled with all these plaques and certificates, like 40. And she brings it out. I said, those are my stupid journalism awards. Put them back up in the attic. I don't want to see those. I have all these awards. I don't even know. I looked through some of these awards. I was like, whoa, what's this for? What's this for? What's this for? All these state awards and national awards. The only one I really cared about was the Loeb Award and the Pulitzer. Those are the only ones I cared about when I was nominated, trying to win Pulitzer Prize, and then I won the Loeb Award. Those are the only ones that matter. But put those other ones back put them near the fireplace in case we need kindling. Who cares about any of that stuff? If I listed all my awards, people would think I was nuts. Like, look how sorry this guy's, like a sorry sack. He has to list all these awards to make himself like legitimate. You know what I mean?
You had him right on the Twitter thing at one point, but I think there's so much other media there now. It's been kind of pushed down.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I literally have dozens of these things through the years, and it's like, so what? What does that mean, right? It means you did a good job. You're supposed to do a good job when you're a journalist, right? It's cool that I won awards and stuff, but I only really cared about a couple of them. The real big ones are the only ones that matter. Can you compete on a national level? I mean, state level. If you're not cleaning up in your state, what the hell are you doing? You should be able to clean up in your state, even if you're writing in Jersey or the New York market and competing against the Post and the Daily News and the New York Times. You should be able to compete, like for Deadline Awards and stuff like that, if you want to be a player, right? It's like how you do on the national level and the international level. That's where, how do you match up against the rest of the world? I mean, that's where my head was. But again, I was only in mainstream media for 3 years, bro. That's it. In the dailies, three years, 3 years and out. So who knows what would happen if I stayed in? I'd probably be a drunk. I'd be on my second liver and I'd be divorced. I know that's probably what would happen.
None of that sounds good. Yeah, I don't know how the awards work in the journalism world, but when I started my career in Hollywood, I was, super hot on, win an award and go to the Oscars and all this. And I never got that far, but I was nominated for a couple of International 3D Society awards. And they're always like, oh, you were nominated. Why don't you buy a table and invite everybody at your company? And it's like 10 grand. And I mean, it's amazing. When I was nominated one time and I didn't buy the table, guess what? I didn't win.
You didn't win. Yeah. I couldn't buy diapers for my kid, let alone a table. I mean, it's like,
it's
great. Thanks for nominating me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so, craziness, but yeah, I'm happy to be back in journalism. I was thinking about it just yesterday. I said, you know what? I feel like I'm back where I belong, and I have unfinished business, and we're coming up on 4 years in the next couple of weeks, 4-year anniversary of True Pundit, and I feel like I'm getting back in my groove. I haven't been in for a while, and it takes a long time to build your sources back up and get some credibility, and I feel like we're hitting a good stride. I'm hitting a good stride professionally, and it's somewhere I want to be for the time being, and so I'm settled in, because for a while we didn't know what we were going to do, and I feel like I'm where I'm supposed to be. So there's a solace in that, even though it's complete chaos out there. At least I have that going for me, with all the unknown variables in everybody's lives. My God, it's literally insane, and it's sad to see. A lot of this stuff has been going on in the government, with like Wray and all these people with all these side deals and these conflicts we're going to talk about tonight, because we're locked away. You think we really are paying attention to this stuff? And people might not even pay attention to this tonight. I understand it. That's cool. They have a lot going on, right? But these guys are out there still operating and still working side deals, kickbacks, schemes, conflicts, and
Well, they're
we're going to
working double
investigate.
time because they're running out of
Yeah.
time. And this whole pandemic seems to be kind of a last-ditch effort. I just want to make sure everybody knows, Mike, because I don't think all of the viewers of More Pain are necessarily aware that in addition to the weekly Thomas Paine podcast, you've got a new daily feature that people who sponsor you and the crew at True Pundit on patreon.com/truepundit, they get access to Pain in the Morning as a video podcast every day. So that's a nice new bonus for people who might not yet be sponsoring True Pundit on Patreon. And I heard you got a really amazing guest on the podcast this week.
I'm going to keep that under wraps. I don't want any problems, until we blow that out tomorrow. But we got the main podcast coming tomorrow, and somebody who I interviewed who wouldn't shut the fuck up, just kept rambling and rambling. This
So
motherfucker.
rude.
I actually left the interview and I cut the lawn. I came back.
Yeah.
No, it's good. No, we talk about Dershowitz and some disturbing things about this. There's something going on with this whole crew. And other information has come in from behind the scenes where we find out there's all these disinformation campaigns going on, especially now leading up to the election. And now they're trying to get all these control modules in place over this COVID-19 aftermath. And there's a lot to talk about. So,
well, just on Dershowitz for a second, because I didn't realize this when I spoke to him, and I didn't find out actually until last night. I just saw an ad for this. I feel like he probably knew, but tomorrow, or maybe even midnight, I don't know, sometime on May 27th, Netflix is premiering a new, I think it's a mini-series, this Jeffrey Epstein Filthy Rich. And the preview that I saw showed a lot of stuff about Dershowitz, so perhaps he wanted to put out this mandatory vaccination message to kind of spin away.
Distraction.
Right.
Yeah.
But we're going to talk about that and
that's
more
interesting.
When we transition over to the sponsor exclusive segment, which we're actually just less than 10 minutes away here on patreon.com/truepundit, patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth, and subscribestar.com/crowdsourcethetruth. Real quick, Mike, before the transition.
I just got it real quick.
Yeah.
That thing just came in on the FBI, so we'll talk about that, another story tonight on the FBI and having to do with Nancy Pelosi. So you want to stick around for that one.
Little ice cream action.
It's crazy. My chocolates. I love my chocolate ice cream.
Oh, gosh, she's out of her mind.
Total bird brain.
But we'll see everybody on Patreon and Subscribestar in just under 10 minutes. Don't miss it. Mike's going to be dropping more killer news. So we'll see everybody over there. And huge thank you to all the sponsors who make it possible. Thanks, everybody, for watching. We'll see you in a few minutes.